Hello, friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you already know that this is my mini-series in which I'm doing a dive into a very particular and beautiful deck called the Tarot of the Holy Light by Christine Payne-Towler. And it's not your average everyday Smith Waite or even a Harris Crowley Golden Dawn based deck. This is a deck that was created by the creator, Christine Payne-Towler, synthesizing all of her studies into the continental Europe tarot tradition and distilling the essence into this beautiful tarot. So, what do? Every day, I draw a card. That is my card for the day. And I look at it and I acknowledge all of the ideas, the memories, the meanings that I have for that card when it comes up in a Golden Dawn-based deck, because that's where I have most of my experience. However, I try to disassociate those ideas from the card as much as possible. Now, there are times when the image on the card reflects the ideas and the meanings that I have for example, a Smith Waite deck. But not always, and often not. And I try to disentangle those, what I see and what I think I know. And so to help me with that, I use a very trusted, modern RWS deck called the Lightseer's Tarot. And I do a 3-card spread to unpack the card from the Tarot of the Holy Light. And the first card gives me the significance of the daily draw card for me for the day. The second card is the obstacle. The third is the advice, what I should do about that. So, typical 3-card spread, significance, obstacle, advice. And then I live my day. And at the end of the day, I pull out my handy, trusted guidebook for the Tarot of the Holy Light, and I look at the description of the card as intended by the creator, by Christine Payne-Towler, and I reflect on that and how that might have manifested or revealed itself without my awareness, without my looking for it directly, if that makes sense. Because if I had started the day with the meaning as intended by the creator, I would have been trying to manipulate what I'm experiencing to match what I think I should be experiencing, if that makes sense. Now, in retrospect, I can see where things might have been in more in alignment with or disalignment with the card I've drawn. And usually, up till now, they've all been very much in alignment with my experience of the day in one way or in another. So that's what I'm doing. And that's what I did today. And so the card that I got today is another reversal, was the 5 of Swords reversed. And here we see 2 birds of different colors, engaged in a struggle of some sort. Let me show you the upright version so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Now we've got a dragon-like creature below doing the Ouroboros, eating its own tail. We have 2 birds, one dominant, one submissive, engaged in some kind of a conflict. We've got 5 swords above. Some are cracked, some are not. And so when I think of, for example, a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, a Smith-Coleman deck, I think of the 5 of Swords as the cleaning up after the battle, winning, but at what cost? When I think of the 5 of Swords in Marseille tradition, I have a very different interpretation of that card. I think of 5s as being the breakthrough, the breaking out of the box of ideas. The 4 is very structured and stable. The 5 is that breakout of something new, something radical, something that could be disruptive or could be progressive. So in this card, I don't really get that either. I get that kind of struggle between not necessarily opposites, but perhaps even partners, but different. Male, female, perhaps. Perhaps we have a little bit of a yin-yang kind of feel between these 2 birds, maybe. And then in reverse, you can see that the bird below is now on the verge of plummeting down onto those swords, making it seem more dangerous. So those are the things that I was thinking of, and I'm wanting to unpack that from my thoughts about the Golden Dawn decks. So I pulled my 3 cards from the Lightseers Tarot, and they were very interesting. So let me show them to you right now. The 3 cards that I got today, unpacking the 5 of Swords in reverse, were the Ace of Pentacles as the significance, the 2 of Wands as the obstacle, and then the Empress, the beautiful Empress card, as the advice. Perfect, wonderful advice, I think. So what did I think? The 5 of Swords in reverse had something to do with an opportunity, a seed that could grow. Now, I love and hate the Ace of Pentacles, to tell you the truth, because whenever I get this card, I'm thinking, oh, something interesting is going to happen today, and I never quite see that something interesting. So the seed is, I guess, there, but I'm just not so aware of it. I'm not as easily aware of it when it appears for me. And yes, I know seeds need nurturing before they will sprout and show themselves. So whenever I see this, I get excited, disappointed at the same time. So there's some potential opportunity here that perhaps this card could disrupt, maybe. Those are the things that I'm thinking of. Or maybe this disruption could be an opportunity. There are times when disruption is an opportunity, right? So what is the obstacle to the opportunity? The 2 of Wands. Now, the 2 of Wands in shadow, to me, would be perhaps not being able to make the choice. Yeah, there are perhaps 2 or more potential courses of action that you are interested in following, but you're not able to make the choice. And it's perhaps not in making the choice that could be an obstacle. Well, it is an obstacle for many people. And so the advice for that, for me, was the pregnant Empress. And you see in the Empress card, this, you don't get the idea of a pregnancy with a baby. This Empress is pregnant with the world. Yeah, it's not necessarily the pregnancy of an embryo or a fetus being in there. This is the pregnancy of giving birth to a whole new world, which could be for a male figure, a female figure, or a non-gendered figure, right? So, and do you notice that this world and this Ace of Pentacles could be the same thing? Yeah, this could be giving birth to this. If this advice is followed, this could happen, right? That makes sense, doesn't it? So, lived my day, and let me read from the book now before I tell you about my day, because those were the things that were going through my head as I was starting and living my day for today. And then today I'm starting a little bit early, and this video a little bit early, and you'll see why in a little bit. But let me tell you about the 5 of Swords. Here, opposite sides of a single nature are struggling for supremacy. Now that was important for me because I'll tell you in a little bit, but that was important for me. There is no need to aim for this is upright, by the way, upright. There is no need to aim for the kill, but only the necessity of establishing a pecking order amidst contending priorities. So when it's upright, it's not necessarily defeat or going for the kill. It's establishing a pecking order is one idea. There is also the need to imagine that the dark and light-colored eagles are more. There is also no need to imagine that the dark and light eagles are immortal adversaries merely because we catch them in a moment of dominant submission. Yeah, these 2 birds are not necessarily enemies. They could be partners that are just trying to work things out in the moment. And in the moment, it might look like a fight or a struggle from the outside, but it's not necessarily that big of a thing. It's just 2 people trying to get things in order, right? Like sparring martial artists or acrobats throwing and catching each other, they become stronger even as they push each other beyond their previous limits. That's a very neat, nice, good, powerful meaning to the Five of Swords in the upright position. Now, historically, the Five of Swords usually carries an image that fits with the retrograde, reversed, implication of this card. The grim and sobering process of cleaning up after the battlefield, after a rout, after Saturn's men have trounced the forces of the ambitious and scrappy Mars. So that Five of Wands from Coleman Smith decks, from Pamela Coleman Smith's art, that's what she's describing here. And in other decks as well. Further examination of the Five of Swords reversed shows the situation when Saturn's disciplinarian influence is at its ultimate weakest, in Aries, the sign of his fall. Participants at this point are stressed, annoyed, or otherwise tempted to violate accepted norms, to indulge in illegal and unfair maneuvers. So, again, winning but at what cost, right? Even worse, when two sides of the same person spar, which I mentioned really early on, right? The first thing I read was related to this. When two sides of the same person spar for supremacy, any seeming victory is only temporary. Nothing is ultimately resolved. This fight will be restaged again and again in different circumstances. Exaggerated opposites are reluctant to allow their differences to settle. So this is when the conflict is internal. In psychological terms, those who fail to discipline their minds, again, internal struggle, are now going in too many directions at once, getting nothing done and making an increasing mess in the process. Remember this card? I think there's one more thing I wanted to read. A couple more things. Okay, there are a couple of more things. In fact, the Five of Swords reversed describes the highest level of chaos at this that is tolerable before one starts arbitrarily imposing order, no matter what the consequences. Yeah, which would have been like the Emperor card I described from yesterday. Yeah, that need to, which the Emperor card showed up in the opposition slot yesterday, that need to arbitrarily just get things in order. That was yesterday's conflict for me. Today's conflict was this, but yesterday it was the Emperor. And that's kind of, we got a flavor of that right here. The mind starts turning back on itself, attacking the beliefs that got it in this situation. By whipping itself into this frenzy, it hopes to raise enough adrenaline to break the confusion, cut cords with the old worldview, and impose a change by force. This is a form of self-conversion by the sword. Similarly, the body's stages of fever in hopes of cooking out any germs or viruses that are trying to take hold. Our main work then is to just survive the five without flying into a million pieces and without hacking anybody up or making anybody wrong because we feel so fragmented and overwhelmed inside. So, in a sense, this is also an exaggeration of what I was talking about yesterday with the the Knight of Wands in reverse. The Knight of Wands in reverse. Yeah, there's an element of that, of the potential of hacking people up in the process of trying to get yourself sorted out, which is something I don't want to do, right? Especially because the people around me right now the person around me right now is my mother in the hospital recovering from pneumonia. Don't want to hack her up. Really, really don't want to hack her up. Yeah, don't want to stress her out, especially at this time, but don't want to stress out my elderly mother anyways. Any more than can possibly be helped. So, what was my day? What was this for me today? It was interesting because, like I said, I was thinking of that Rider-Waite-Smith in the reverse that this in reverse could be that conflict, and winning, but at what cost kind of thing. And the first thing that I encountered after having breakfast and was getting ready to go to the hospital to check in on my mom was I went and asked for a taxi to take me to the other hospital. And the woman went into the back. They had just asked me and the man I was sitting with about when we were staying and if we were extending, that kind of thing. After the woman helped me get a taxi, she went back into the rear of the office. There's a little glass wall and a door. She went back there, and then she and her colleagues started bickering. I mean, not harshly bickering, but what's going on here? Well, I already told you about that. Those are the kinds of things that I was hearing in Icelandic, but I kind of felt that. So I thought, oh, well, maybe the conflict is not going to be here or between me and somebody else, but maybe there will be conflicts around me that I'm going to have to navigate. That was my first thought. That's not what it was. I mean, it could have been part of it, but that's not what the 5 reversed ended up being. So I went to the hospital. My mom was doing a lot better. When I got there, she wasn't in bed. She'd gotten herself up, out, and into the bathroom, and I waited for her. She came out and got herself settled in a chair all by her own self. She was still off of oxygen. She had not been given oxygen, to my knowledge, at all yesterday or today. She was hungry. She expressed hunger, which is a new thing, and wonderful to see. And so she was asking me, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? And because of this, that question irritated me a little bit. Because I was thinking, well, I'm going to do the same thing I always do. I'm going to sit here with you until dinner time, and then I'm going to go back to the hotel. But then I was thinking, no, I really want to go shopping today. Not shopping like, I want to go shopping. I'm window shopping, see what the stores, but I've got some things I want to buy. I want to go to a grocery store. Which I had not really found yet, at least not one to my satisfaction. And so we talked about other things, and as we were talking, and I was noticing how much better my mom was, and that she went down for some extra tests because they wanted to check her gallbladder because she had thrown up the day before, but she really was doing much better today, and really moving around on her own much more today. I was deliberately doing as much hands off as I possibly could, just to be sure that, one, she doesn't unnecessarily lean on me and gets her strength back, but also to see how much I can leave her alone. And in all of that, I kept thinking to myself, well, what do I want to do? What should I do? What should I do? I was starting, I should stay here. No, I should go. No, I should stay here. No, I should go. And then I thought, I'm doing this. I'm just make a bloody decision. Well, which one should I do? What's the best? What decision gives me this? Yeah? What decision could I make that would give me this wonderful opportunity that I'm hoping to expect? And then I just said, make a decision. That's all you do. You just make a decision. Whatever decision you make, that's going to be fine. And instead of trying to go after the opportunity, allow the opportunity to gestate. Derek John Thomas. I was a little less harsh in my mind, but that's the essence of what I was doing. I wanted to be the empress. I wanted to let whatever was going to develop gestate and try to stand out of its way, to get out of its way, and trust that it will unfold. So what I decided to do was, since my mom was doing so well, and I checked with the nurse, that I said, I'm going to leave before my mom has dinner so I can go take care of some chores. And they seemed to be fine with that. I don't think that would have been a problem for them yesterday or the day before that. But today I made the decision that I'm going to do this so that I can do something else. So after she had lunch and I had lunch and I came back up and I got her tea and got things settled, and she settled her in for a nap, I said I was going to go out to a grocery store. and I was going to find a grocery store all on my own. And so I did that. I left, I walked away, went to a grocery store, and the grocery store I found was really, really small. I'd asked, there are grocery stores around here. There are a couple of them that are supposed to have good prices. One of them is Bonus, and one of them is called Cronin. And so I asked the nurse which one I should go to. She said Cronin. So I decided to go to a Cronin. I found a Cronin in my app, my map, my phone map, and I went to the Cronin, and it was really small. I was thinking, why are people saying that this is so big? So I asked the person behind the counter, and the person behind the counter said that, I said, is there a Cronin that is bigger than this? And apparently, yes. There are the regular Cronins, and then there are these smaller Cronins. There are stores like that in Korea. I know that there are stores, Tedesco has stores like that, the regular stores, and then these little mini convenience style stores. So it was one of those. And the other larger store was in relative walking distance in the opposite direction of where I wanted to go, but dang it, I was going to walk to that one too. So I walked to that one. I got what I wanted, mostly. Interesting, they don't sell alcohol in grocery stores here. You have to buy alcohol in a separate store. And that separate store was like a block and a half away. So I went there. Then I walked back. Well, let me show you my stash. What did I buy? Well, one thing I needed to buy was laundry detergent, because I'm going to have to wash some more clothes before I leave to go back to the United States. I bought some laundry detergent. I also have fallen head over heels for this candy in Iceland. It's chocolate covered licorice. I don't know what you think of that. I would not have thought it was all that interesting, but I've absolutely fallen in love with this particular brand of chocolate-covered licorice because there's a lot of licorice in here. It's almost a 50-50 balance, and it's really, really good. So I've been hoarding this to take back with me. I also was looking at nuts. The hotel cafeteria here, the hotel dining area here, which gives us breakfast, lunch, and dinner, hospital hotel, has cashews every day, but only cashews. And I got this hankering, well, maybe I'd like another kind of nut, maybe some peanuts, maybe some almonds would be nice. So I went to the nuts display, and was looking at the nuts, and then this fell off of the rack. And I thought, really? Okay, why not? Other people buy it and survive. I might as well buy it and taste it. It's small. So I bought this. It turns out that these are salted licorice. And they look kind of like funny looking dried dates. Have you ever seen a dried date? Yeah. They kind of look like dried dates to me. Only they're browner instead of red, dark red. Yeah. But these are salted licorice. Interesting. I wouldn't want to eat a whole bunch of them at once, but it's a good thing. It's an interesting taste. It's an intriguing taste. And I don't know if you know this, but I've had a birthday recently that I was not able to celebrate. So before that, I also bought these nail clippers because look at these. My nail clippers are on the ship that left. So I needed to get these claws in order. But then remember I said that there was an alcohol store close by? Well, I decided to go out and buy myself a bottle of Chianti. This is organic Chianti from Italy. So that's why I'm filming this a little bit early so that I can have a little bit of wine for myself and still be lucid tomorrow morning when I go to see my mom in the hospital. So I bought this, and of course, since I bought that, I needed to buy one of these. So I got those. And then I walked back home. It was about an hour walk from the large Cronin store to the hospital hotel. And I got here in plenty of time for dinner. And on my way, I took pictures of flowers. I saw a rose, what turned out to be a rose bush. Not a wild rose bush, but an untended rose bush. Probably was something that had been planted elsewhere and the seeds migrated, and it's a volunteer rosebush, I believe. The area of land between the sidewalk next to the highway and some apartments is untended, but there are roses in one section. There are other flowers, all different kinds of flowers along the way. So I stopped and I smelled the roses, took photos of the roses, took photos of the other flowers. And what could be a more empress activity than doing something like that, right? So when I made my choice instead of letting this indecision that I was thinking of stand in my way. I made my choice, and I didn't do anything radical or anything probably that even you are impressed with, but I did something and I followed my lead. I ended up coming across this interesting little game store that had cards, and I thought maybe I'd run into some tarot cards. No, but still, I enjoyed looking around the shop of games and toys and stuff. So I was doing as much of this allowing things to create themselves for me today. At least that's what I think I was doing. What do you think I was doing? I'd love to hear, what do you think? So, friends, I'm going to stop here. I've been talking longer than I thought I would. If you're still here, hit the thumbs up button. See, I need to cup these nails. Hit the thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you enjoyed this and other people might be interested, and they will draw more eyes to the channel. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so that you get notifications of when I upload videos. I'm still doing one a day for quite a while, but after that, I'll only be doing 2 a week when I get back to work, and probably back to my old way of doing videos. And also comment below. I would love to hear from you. And if you're interested in a reading from me, I will have my new email address in the description box below. Send me an email, say, I'd like a reading from you. We'll work it out together. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.